Hello fellow tankers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today I bring you Tier 8 American heavy tank T32. So I'm gonna have 3 ace tanker gameplays for you guys in this episode. All 3 are from different time frames. The first one that I'm showing you, I've had this replay for a long time, but it doesn't have the damage that I thought was good enough to show. But because it was an ace tanker gameplay and it was my 2-mark game for this tank, I kind of had it with me for a long time, and I thought maybe at one point I'll present it together with other ace tanker gameplays from T32, and I managed to do that. So I put it all together for you guys and I decided to show it to you as well. Now in this game I'm using my old gamer tag Space Bandit still before the change, so therefore you're gonna see that on the end screen. Now this game on THIEPVAL Ridge, and for whatever reason I seem to be having pretty good games on THIEPVAL Ridge lately. Overall I really like that map. It's really fantastic map. It gives a lot of possibilities and opportunities to fast tanks as well as brawling areas for heavy tanks. So for whatever reason in this game we pushed the 2-lane, which is normally the case for heavy tanks, but there was no opposition there, so we made it all the way, almost all the way to the cap circle, and the enemy team pushed from the other side, so I ended up turning around, going back to defend the base. Now on the way towards the base I run into Emo 1, which is not a pleasant encounter. As you guys have noticed, I have lost quite a bit of health to him, but I was able to keep my front to him and basically make sure that I minimize the damage, even though he managed to penetrate me a few times anyway. But we beat his reload and we were able to take him out. So now we're gonna try to engage the Tiger 2, and I'm being very cautious here because in my games many times when I try to go really hard and I lose a lot of health and my team dies, then I'm kicking myself for not carrying the game. So I'm being this cautious because in randoms, guys, anything can happen. So I always try to pay attention to my health pool and play on the cautious side. And sometimes it seems to me it's not the best thing to do either, because I don't get the games that I want to get, really. But yeah, it's part of the game. It is what it is. So basically we're heading back to the base. We're gonna try to defend, and once we take care of the Tiger 2, we're gonna deal with Tiger 1 that's currently in our base and capping. But I don't know why he's doing that, because he basically is showing his position. So if you guys are left at the end of the game just by yourselves, you obviously your goal should be, first and foremost, is to get a little bit of extra damage to prep your stats at the end of the game. That should be the first thing on your mind. And second is obviously you want to still try to win the game even though you're losing. I mean, depending on the tank you're in. Obviously if you're in very soft tank, it's going to be hard to carry, but as long as you use it to your advantage, it's always possible, right? You never know what kind of opposition you're going to be facing. So what I would recommend to you guys, if you're left alone at the end of the game, is find yourself a nice defensive position which plays to the strength of your tank and use it to your advantage. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At least you can tell yourself that you tried, right? So let's take a quick glance at the post-game stats. So we got an ace tanker, our second mark of excellence, 3.2k damage, 1630 base XP. Again, not a huge damage numbers, just maybe one of your above average games in T32. And second mark of excellence, I'm not actively going for marks of excellence, but over time they just seem to appear as I mentioned to you before. So the second game I have for you guys is on Fisherman's Bay, and what this game is going to show you is the importance of the middle ridge. And in my games that is usually the first choice, going to the middle ridge. Now that really depends on how many light tanks the opposition has and how many artilleries the opposition has. If there are 4 or 5 light tanks on the opposing team, it is very easy to get YOLO'd in this position. So you guys have to be really cautious about that, and you have to remember that that might happen. It even happened to me when there were like 2 light tanks on the enemy side, and in current meta it seems to me that people are throwing tanks away all the time. Like, games end in less than 5 minutes lately, and last I've played was on Saturday, just recently, and it was a horrible run, guys. I got so frustrated because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything in my games, and for the most part was because of all these light tanks running around. So yeah, you gotta be cautious about this position. You do have a lot of shots that will present themselves to you from this position, because usually the tanks try to cross, especially early in the game, they try to cross into town, and you can take advantage of them crossing and get some side shots, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. Now, if there's artillery in the game, that's quite important as well, and depending, like if there's usually 1 artillery, I would still come here. If there are 2 artilleries, I would think twice about coming here, but if I do, I need to think about cover and what's the best position. Like you can see here, I'm pretty much exposed, I don't have much cover. But if artillery was in the game, I would probably be closer to the building on the left, just because of the fact that artillery would be sitting closer to the right side of me, somewhere in the southwest corner of the map. So in this case, I have no fear whatsoever. I'm a top tier, I have a solid turret armor. This is the best position for me right here, and just take advantage of the shots that I got. Now, one thing to point out. Now, first of all, you can see me moving up. So I could see my team moving up, and what I'll do is I'll move up with my team, and again, I'm going to try to take my chances, poke over the ridges, engage enemies that are closer and closer to southwest. But if you guys pay attention to the mini-map, and that's something, I kind of a little bit tunneled vision here in this game, because you could see that behind me there is absolutely nothing except for the tank destroyer that's sitting at the A lane. So what's gonna happen is the opposing team will win the other side of the map, will win the 1 lane, and they will roll really quickly through the other side of the map, through our side of the map, and I'm gonna come under heavy fire, and that's gonna happen soon. But the important lesson out of this is that, and I've told you guys this before, and I catch myself doing the same thing all the time, if you are the last one on either flank, you will be targeted first. And see what happens here. I'm the last one on this side, even though the tank destroyer is sitting deep, but he's not spotted, so I'm the first target that these tanks are engaging. So you could see me scramble here because I wasn't expecting that. Basically, I got YOLO through the middle again. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to back up down the ridge so I can use my turret armor to face these guys and clear them up. But basically what I'm doing at this point is I'm exposing my side to the opposing team that's still sitting or camping their base. So, and I was perfectly fine here. This position was great as long as my team is behind me, because here I have a strong position, and if my team behind me can engage these guys that are camping, I would be perfectly fine doing what I'm doing right now, right here. But you guys will notice what happens. So our team, the entire team, has realized that we are being flanked on this side, and everyone except for 1 tank, everyone is going to drop to defend the base. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna create, basically exposes me again. So I'm basically the last one, except for the medium tank that's in the corner there. I'm the last one on this side, so I'm going to be targeted. And I just realized that right now, and I'm scrambling and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do? If I get on this side, of the house, I'm gonna get under fire. And I was afraid of that Borsig, that he's gonna hit me. He stayed alive there, I missed the shot. But I'm also aware of the fact that I am in a bad position because anyone can shoot me in my ass. And what happened here, Fatherland basically drove up all the way to the middle of the map, hit me in the ass, and I died. So I'm not showing you the rest of the game, guys. Our team wrapped it up and won it. But we managed to pull out pretty nice score, ace tanker, high caliber, 4.6k damage. And again, you can see what this position, central position on Fish Bay, what it can do. It's absolutely fantastic if you know how to play it. And if you have a tank with good gun depression, it's definitely gonna be an advantageous position for you. Okay, let's skip to the last replay of this video. And last replay will be on map Heilbronn. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fast forward it a bit to the position that I usually use on Heilbronn, and I'll share it with you guys. Why? Because this position is excellent with respect to spotting, and because of my turret armor, which works to my advantage in T32, this position is even better because you can basically just expose your turret and you potentially have shots from both sides, from left side and from right side. As you can see me peeking out here, I'm spotting some customers, and that's what this position can do. Now, it's not an RD safe position, but I've been in here for many games and I rarely get hit by RD. And if RD does start paying attention to you, all you gotta do is climb up that ridge that's in front of you, or mini hill, whatever you want to call it, to minimize the angle, the impact angle. But again, so what I'm gonna do here, and in this game is going to be funny because I'm gonna come under heavy fire. It seemed like the opposing team completely pushed through this side. Now that's not usual per se. You usually get some resistance on this side, but it's not known for the enemy to attack through this side, simply because look at the coverage from the back, from behind me. So the tank destroyers usually line up on B lane, and it's really difficult for Reds to attack from this side. And if I would be playing from the other side, I would never try to come through this side in order to attack our base, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, everyone's exposed to too much fire, and you will see what's gonna happen to the enemy team. They're all gonna keep coming and they're all gonna be slaughtered. And I've had few games like that already in this position, where enemy team just gets completely annihilated. So yeah, if you guys pay attention to this map, be sure not to attack. If you're drawn on the south spawn, be sure not to attack through this side, because it's basically suicide. So I'm gonna serve mostly as a spotter here. I don't have a lot of good shots right now. I'm trying to fire as much as I can, hit whatever I can. These are very narrow shots that I'm not hitting. And you have games like this. Oh, there is artillery right there. See? So artillery does pay attention to me right now. But for the most part, she left me alone for the rest of the game, which is quite surprising. So I'm kind of concerned here, because I'm getting flanked on both sides, and I don't know if my team can provide enough firepower in order to stop the progress of the Reds. So I've noticed this T95 on the left side. I got tanks from the right, tanks from the left. I was like, oh, how am I gonna survive this? I was ready to die here, guys. Honestly, I was. Luckily, my team is peppering T95. I don't have to pay attention to him. But then I realized, if I could somehow get... That's a bad shot, by the way. But if I can somehow get behind him or to his side, and he's basically paying attention to my tank destroyers on the hill, I could shoot him in the ass. But because it's T95, obviously, and because it has a troll armor, I bounce off his ass. So luckily our team manages to pick up the kill on T95. Now all I'm trying to do here is stop the progress of this tortoise, because he has rate of fire to basically shred me to pieces. So I tracked him. Luckily he used his repair kit already, and I shoot him in a cupola, but my team takes him out, and now I'm back in the position where I was before, but I'm now paying attention to the tanks that are on the left and trying to get away from them and use my turret armor to just poke over and shoot. So in a nutshell, it's very simple what I'm doing. I'm just holding my position, and as you can see, I'm not getting a lot of damage here, but I am getting tons of assisted damage, and you will see what I did at the end of the game here. And basically now are just the closing stages, so I'm just picking up the leftovers, and you know, thank you very much T29, thanks for free damage, and I tracked them in place, so I pick up another portion of assisted damage. So take a look at this, like we basically destroyed the opposing team, absolutely destroyed them. So we're gonna skip this forward a little bit because I don't think I'm gonna get to see any more action. Again, not a lot of penetrating shots in this game, guys, but again, the whole idea of this position is to spot, and that's what you have to be aware of. So I think I did my job pretty good here, and the most important thing in this situation is stay alive, and I managed to do that as well. So take a look at the post-game stats. Ace tanker, well, 6k combined damage, 4.3k assisted damage, a fantastic result. Finished second on the team, just a solid game in T32. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed those replays. Check out the guys in the comment section, the links are there, fantastic players again. And a quick announcement, on September 29th, I believe it will be 6 p.m. sometime. I'm not sure. I think it's 6 p.m., but I'll have to check with Garadingi. All three of us, myself, Garadingi, and Clone Guy, aka the Null Trooper, will be platooning together and streaming together. So if you are interested and you find some time to watch our stream, I suggest going either to Garadingi's Twitch stream, or I believe Clone Guy will likely live stream on YouTube at the same time. So feel invited, watch us play together, and at the end of it all, let me know how much more I suck with comparison to Clone Guy and Garadingi. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy tanking. Until next time, Space Bandit checking out.